Hi guys,
hello.
From Ramon and from Bob again, braving it during lockdown but working of course. We thought we'd bring you a little video today about our favourite guitars. So we're going to have a little parade of some nice stuff, some of it pretty obvious, some of it quite droolsome, some of it a little less obvious. We're just going to run through in turn what we fancy.
Right, so let's start with guitar number one. This is not really in order. This is like five guitars we couldn't live without. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about this guitar.
Okay, so number one from me is, and many of you who watch the channel will have seen some of these guitars before. This is my 1974 Telecaster. It comes from a not particularly auspicious time from Fender. Remember, this is the time of 3-bolt necks on Strats and things like that. It's a regular blonde Telecaster, slightly less usual because it's got the rosewood fingerboard. I've messed around with it a lot. I've changed the machine heads to ordinary Clusons because I hated the Fender F machine heads. So some parts vultures had them and made a profit out of them. I've had the frets reground, retrimmed, but not refretted. It's got a Lola tele pickup in the neck. It's got the bridge pickup is original, but it had to be rewound because it went open circuit. So that was rewound by that guy called Barat,
okay,
who's quite celebrated as a pickup winder. And this is a very, very hot bridge pickup. And the other thing is my switch on the instrument failed recently, my 3-way switch. So for 12 quid, I got a 4-way switch off the internet and soldered it in, and I love it. So
he's a pickup maker up north of England.
I think he's from Lincoln or something like that. But somebody told me he hadn't been working for years.
Did he did these over the pond humbuckers, Les Paul humbuckers?
I don't know. I mean, when I mentioned it to a few vintage guys, they kind of said, "Oh yeah, great," Right. But I don't know. I mean, it was actually through an intermediary, so I only found out who it was because his address was on the package.
Right.
But that was it. But it's a fantastic pickup. So that's this guitar. The reason I've got it in today, it's a pretty humble guitar, but this guitar has never let me down. I take this out, I do lots of gigs, I do lots of open nights, jams and stuff with it, and it just, every time I take it out, it just does what you ask it to do. So if you're no good on the night, no good.
Yeah.
But it's never failed me, never breaks down.
What about the weight?
Weight, middling, nothing special. Mm-hmm. Like it's, I can get all excited about 52 Blackguard tellies for enormous amounts of money, but this is a very regular player guitar in fair condition, but it's just always looked after me.
Wow.
So that's why I'm putting it on first, because this guitar really just works.
Wow.
Now, what have you got?
Well, this is a guitar that I've been looking for. The Strat is pretty boring because we all play Strats, but
it's got a hole in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I bought it like that. But this guitar, guys, I've been looking for a Stratocaster that's my Strat for 25 years, and I got this one earlier this year, and this is it. This is the guitar I've been looking for. This is my Excalibur, that I've been looking for 25 years. The sword in the stone. This is it. Whatever is in my brain, I can translate into the fretboard. It's a handmade guitar from ESP, their custom shop in I think late 90s. It's original specs, clay dots, Honduras rosewood fingerboard, and it's just got a nice little chunky neck on it.
Lovely colour, great combination with the tortoise guard.
Yeah, and it's got a name. It's called Amelia. This is Amelia.
Amelia.
Let me introduce you to Amelia.
And when you were playing it, it's also it sounds like a really good Strat. You know how a Strat sounds like a Strat, and it sounds a bit woody.
That a spank, but it's just like, I've been just looking for the Strat for 25 years. This is it, guys, and I hope you find yours.
And I hope you find something to put in that hole.
Well, I'm saving up. I'm saving up my pocket money to hopefully get one of these one day, and but this is it. Should we move to the next?
Brilliant. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay.
Let's do it. Okay.
Okay, so, Bob, what are we holding here?
Okay, 1956 Gretsch Duo Jet. Basically Gretsch's kind of answer to the Les Paul, but it's hollow. Front of it's done with a hollow, like that. Front of it's done with a bit of nitron drum lacquer. Two, what do they call these? Diamond Dynasonic pickups. The back pickup has to have the pole pieces lifted about 5 feet out of it to get string balance. Melita bridge. Probably had a neck reset at some point, but I've owned this guitar for quite a long time. I traded a 1965 330, beautiful T-burst 330, beautiful to look at, but just didn't ring my bell when it came to playing it at all. I traded it with this guy in Germany for this, and boy did I think I got a great deal. It's a fantastic guitar, quite thin, quite reedy, but I took it out to Blues Jam one night and stuck it through some drive, and whoa!
Yeah.
So a lovely guitar for me in my collection, a bit of a sleeper because this sat in the case for quite a long time, and then I got it out and suddenly thought, why don't you play it? It's fantastic.
Did I have any influence on that? Because when I came over and first met you, I was rather taken by this.
I think you might have done. I think you know how sometimes you live with your guitars and you kind of feel like you forget about a guitar.
Yes.
And then somebody comes around and says, "Why aren't you paying any attention to that?" And
it's like didn't I tell you this?
Yeah.
You came over and played my guitar over here, and I hated that guitar until I heard you playing.
The funny thing is, they both got the same pickups.
So yeah.
Anyway, there you go. 56 Duo Jet in lovely condition. Nice little details like bit of mother of toilet seat on there and all the rest of it. Original everything, and a really nice guitar, especially in the hands of a player who can really do that kind of jazz country swing thing, which I can't. But I mean, this is fantastic for that.
Guys, there's a really great player called Stephen Ulrich. Okay, he plays one of these things same year. Check him out because he does this kind of film noir spaghetti western style. He is New York guy.
Yeah.
Plays with Mark Ribot as well.
Okay.
He is the Dogs.
Wow. So that's a Gretsch Duo Jet. What have you got here?
Yeah, well, this is like this was actually a present that I got a body and a neck from a good friend of mine called Bill Morgan, and he actually makes dumble clones in Japan. He's married to a lovely Japanese lady called Emmy, who's the Free the Tone. She works for Free the Tone pedals. And I was doing I had an association with Free the Tone, and I got gifted this body and neck. So I think it's kind of a parts body with a Fender neck, and then it kind of this was a guitar I always travelled to Africa, especially Morocco with, and eventually going to Morocco, I put new bits on it every time I went for some reason, and it kind of morphed into this Korina, which I call a Goosecaster.
So gold foil in the neck.
Yeah, Guyatone, 60s Guyatone in the neck.
Okay.
And a Mojo pickups reproduction of a Valco in the bridge position.
And that's the Raikuda pickup.
That's a Raikuda copy, yeah.
And the strings pass through between the pickup and the plate on top.
Yeah.
So there's something going with a magnetic field.
That's right, and I have these two on at the same time. I only ever play this guitar with both pickups on at the same time, but they're out of phase. So you get this. really great sound, you know. And another thing about this, if I do a close up, you can even see the sand from the Sahara Desert embedded in the fretboard. So I've really
souvenir.
This has been all over the Sahara Desert.
So tell me, one thing I've noticed that you do this on your tellies. You put the switch at the back, so you reverse the plate.
Yeah, just so I can get my little finger, and then I can do these sort of a swell.
Beautiful. Which leads me to my next question, which is, what's this chap here? There's a kind of metal post in here.
Yeah, we'll do a close up.
We'll do a close up.
I actually put this volume control here to even get it more. But one day I was doing a Booker White thing, because I was doing a concert and I snapped it off.
You snapped it. Oh.
So I need to get that repaired. But
okay.
There you go. And sometimes I hit it. So I really do whack this guitar a lot when I play it live. Basically, this is what I want to say, guys, to you guys. I want to be a bit philosophical here. So come in closer, guys. Yeah.
Spill the beans.
A guitar has got to inspire you, or else sell it. Get rid of it. That's my tip.
All I can say, I must be very easily inspired then, because I never sell anything.
You must.
And I love the lot.
But that's true, isn't it? If you've got to pick up a guitar and it's got to inspire you. You know, this guitar inspired me to. I can't do that on another guitar. I can only do it on this guitar, and this guitar inspires me. So if a guitar does not inspire you, get rid of it, sell it. Give it to someone else who it might inspire. That's
well
my
said.
tip. Yeah.
Well said. Now, on that note, let's move on and find some more inspiration.
Fantastic. What do we have here in your hands?
Right, okay, so the whole thing about this show is it's supposed to be our favourite guitars. This is my favourite guitar. It's a 1961 Gibson ES330TC, so a single pickup 330 from the dot neck era, so quite a wide, flat neck. Gibson frets, thick frets, not the 50s frets, the 60s frets. Plays like a dream, and this of all my guitars is, you said inspired earlier.
Yes.
This guitar, I don't think I play this guitar, I think it plays me. It's got a spring. It's a fantastic noodling guitar in front of the telly because it's great acoustic. Mm-hmm. It's easy to play, it weighs about a pound.
Wow.
And it's in pretty good shape, but you know, I didn't buy this as a collector. I bought it because I wanted an early 330, and I fell in love with it. I've got two more. I've got a blonde one, and I've got an Epiphone Sunburst one as well. But by a hair's breadth, this is the guitar.
Wow, that is Bob's guitar, right?
My favourite guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, and by no means the most valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you've got something completely different.
Yeah, well, I never thought that I would be interested in playing, you know, the Explorer. Obviously, this is a ESP made in 1995. It's nitrocellulose lacquer, which has been cracked. We reckon we were talking earlier, weren't we? It probably was in Tokyo, hanging above a bar, because it was covered in nicotine.
So filthy.
Really filthy. But this thing, it just got an incredible sound to it. You can play jazz on this. You can play blues, you can play rock. It's a really versatile. It's become my favourite. And you know what? I don't want to be like getting old, being the older guy playing a Les Paul. You know, if we ever get to play gigs again, I don't want to be that guy playing the Les Paul. I want to be the guy playing the Explorer, because it's something a little bit different, a bit quirky. And I think that's what you have to do is, turning up playing a Les Paul or a Strat. It's just boring, But turn up, you play one of these things, like people are going to be, oh yes. So it's got that, it's got the look, it's got the sound, and it really does sound great, doesn't it?
And the other thing about these guitars is they look like they're a real handful to play, like they're all uncomfortable and pointy and sticky out everywhere. They're incredibly comfortable and easy to play.
You can even like rest your arm here. If you're feeling really tired, you just, So it's a short scale, it's a Gibson scale.
Yeah. So
it's very fast. And so these are surprisingly good guitars, and like I said, I feel stupid. I thought I'd feel stupid playing one of these, but I love it. I think it's one of my favourite.
And so that's a ESP Navigator. It's all in Korina, authentic, and all the rest of it. It should be, but of course this is the affordable end of things, because if this was a real Gibson, only 24 of the damn things made back in the late 50s, and they're a commercial disaster. So they have become the most iconic, the most collectible, and also the most argued about. Guitars probably in history. I mean, they make all the arguments on the forums about Les Pauls look like chicken feed. When it comes to arguments about Explorers, they're in a different league.
But when you get a good one like this, I believe this one is, they are unbeatable. Korina, they've got to be Korina. Get some good humbuckers. These are Mojo pickups, humbuckers, good quality humbuckers. And there's just something magical. There's a magic tone.
Absolutely.
The neck is a certain width as well. It's a little bit wider. Nice and big. It's a big neck, nice and wide. You get all those elements together, and it's an unbeatable package.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everybody's taste, but I mean, ever since the first time I saw one, it was Leon Russell's guitar player on the old Grey Whistle test, hundreds of years ago, and I thought, I couldn't really see it properly. I thought it must be a Firebird. And it wasn't. It took me years to find out there were these pointy things even existed.
Yeah, and Eric Clapton, it was because of Leon Russell's guitar player. Yeah. They did the George concert. I think it was George Harrison's concert or John Lennon's concert.
The Bangladesh concert.
Yeah, I think it may have been that one. Yes, it was that one.
Okay, so way back.
Yeah, and Clapton spotted Leon Russell's guitarist with an Explorer, and that was the reason Clapton got one.
Okay.
So.
And remember, as I say, there were just over 24 of these things out there in circulation, so it wouldn't have been that easy to find, even if you were Eric Clapton.
Yeah, and Eric Clapton, of course, didn't have this thing.
He cut it off, curved there. He actually had two. He had one this shape, and he had one that was cut off there.
Yeah, and apparently he bought it, and I think it was Manny's that sold it to him, and they said it was a custom build one, and it wasn't. Somebody just sawn it off. So when Eric Clapton found out about it, he was really pissed off.
But I mean, for real ones of these now, you're talking about hundreds of thousands. Yeah. Big money. But this is a very, very good. I'm looking for the right word. It's not a knockoff. It's a replica, but it's a fantastic guitar in its own right.
I mean, it may even be that one day I get to play this next to a real one, and I get to see, how close the ESP got. But this really is. I think they only made one or two of these. In Korina.
Yeah,
there's literally one or two of these ever made.
So I'm lucky. I have played one, and so it's in kind of memory as to what it felt like and sounded like. I've played a couple of 58 Flying V's as well, and they are very, very particular and special guitars. They're very loud, very upfront tone, and this doesn't do a bad job of sounding like it. It's pretty close. If you imagine that you could buy many dozens of these. Mm-hmm. Not quite hundreds for the price. It gets pretty close.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so this is a Stratocaster, an old bloke playing a Stratocaster, apropos your previous comments. But at least it's a good Strat. It's a really good Strat. It's a 61-62. The neck and the body are late 61 and early 62 respectively, though I can't remember which way round they are without unscrewing it. I've had this for a long time. I've had this since about 1974. It's in Shoreline gold, and if you see on the thing, on the video, it looks very kind of reddish yellow gold. It looks more like the later Fire Mist gold, but it's Shoreline. But the top coat, in the God knows how many years I've owned it, has just got darker and darker yellow, So what started out as a sort of darkish cappuccino has ended up with this sort of yellowing thing, but it's
it looks gold.
there you go. It's gold, and it's got a little bit of buckle rash on the back and stuff. You know, it's been with me a long time, this guitar. Big thick neck. That's all the lacquer's worn off the back, so it's really, really smooth. I did have to have it refretted, but the good news about having it refretted is they could also take a skim off the slab board, revealing the most fantastic skunk stripe in the rosewood. So that's nice. The Fender logo is a bit chipped at the top, but everything's original except the bridge pickup. Again, had to be rewound. Went open circuit, so Barat rewound that. Everything. Oh, and it's got a five position switch. But the 3-position, the original's in the case, if anybody wants it, but I'm not selling it.
So would this be worth more because it's gold?
A lot. Yeah, the custom colour strats are more valuable, well, more sought after by collectors than sunbursts. And then there's a hierarchy because some of the custom colours were more common than others. Red was a popular colour. As you go through some of them, like the Burgundy Mists and the Lake Placid Blues, they get a bit more unusual. I'm told that the most unusual one of all, the absolute holy grail, is an Inca silver one. The Shoreline gold isn't far behind that. Sherwood green, the dark metallic green.
That's a beautiful one, isn't it? The green, the show.
It's fantastic. And for any of you guys that might remember a guitar player who played with Pink Floyd, but he played also with Al Stewart and with the Sullivan Brothers and Quiver, his name is Tim Rennick. Wonderful guitar player. And he's got this fantastic 62 Sherwood green Strat with a matching Sherwood green headstock, which is mad super rare. You know, you see lots of jazz masters and stuff with coloured headstocks, very few Strats. So I mean, that's an amazing guitar, but this is from that era, and basically if you're a Strat player you want to have a 57 and you want to have a 62. They're the two years that make the sounds, and this one's got a lovely clank to it. It's nice, and you know,
it's really
so it's like you know, woody.
I've geeked on this guitar, haven't I?
You have,
and it's incredible.
so it's a good Strat. And actually, when people come around my place and play the guitars, this is the one they want to take away with them.
It's a really...
So, you know, and it's been with me a long time. It's looked after me well.
You know the Steve Ray Vaughan, people are always going on about his neck. That's the neck. That's the neck he had.
Big.
This is it.
Biggish.
This is the one. This is the one. That's the Steve Ray Vaughan neck.
Most of the Strats I've played around this era tend to be a little bit skinnier.
Yeah.
Either front to back or sideways. And they get
But that
skinnier
is the Steve Ray Vaughan neck.
later, but it's a great one. So it's, you know, it's been with me a long time, and this will be with me for a long time yet.
Fantastic.
There you go. Now you have something completely different.
Yeah, this is called the African guitar. That's its name because originally I was very influenced by a guitarist called Alpha Katori, who was from Mali, and kind of played like that. And he played this cheap Ibanez guitar called a Sewa or something, Power Sonic, and it was a very cheap guitar with a speaker in there. And it only had one humbucker, so I sought with the bass gallery here in Camden, London, to design sort of something similar, but made from all African woods. So this is African, African ebony, Wenge wood as well on the neck, all African woods, so that I could kind of replicate Alpha Katori's guitar. And I only use this for African music, so it's very, very sort of fast for that sort of style, sort of. You know, it's just really, really sort of made for that sort of style of playing. And yeah, it's fantastic. And I only, you know, if I'm playing African music, this is the guitar that I play on it. So this kind of really inspires me for these kind of fast Tuareg African sort of blues style riffs. And again, we're talking about inspiration.
Yeah.
This is really, it has a purpose in my collection to play it the African style. I don't play African style on any other guitar. Just this one.
Yeah.
This is the one.
And you're right. I mean, so you know, before we recorded this, I was playing this a bit. And I mean, it's a guitar. I can play it, but I can't play it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So exactly what you say. I mean, this is a guitar that's designed for something that I don't do.
But
so
yeah,
you know,
I mean, you can. but it's not really for that. It's for something else.
Yeah.
And in that class, it's the best of its class. So it's got an ESP Custom Labs pickup, and you guys would never have heard of that pickup before, but I'm telling you for the first time, this is the dog's...
Are we in danger of patronising our audience here, do you think? Or?
Not at all. Not at all. We're giving them information.
Okay. So what is so special about this unheard of pickup?
Well, it's it's very noiseless because the way they wind it and they kind of shield it. But I think I can't remember if it's an Alnico 3 or something. But it's just a very clean, sort of beautiful. Very even. You can, it's not a neck or bridge pickup. It's just a pickup. You can put it in the neck or bridge. They don't make a neck or bridge pickup. They just make the pickup, and you decide what you want to do with it. But it's more of a modern sort of thing. It's not a vintage, but it's a vintage capacitance. But it's not a vintage, constructed. It really is. So they're fantastic.
And for another day, geeking out. But capacitance in pickups seems to be one of the sort of the hot talking points at the moment, isn't it? And tell me, even the knobs are made of wood. Yeah,
even the knobs are African wood. So this was a kind of it was a tribute to Alafakatori. This is my tribute to him, and I just called this guitar is named the African guitar. That's what it's called, and it's made by Chapter Guitars. If you want to check them out, but it's really nice just to design a guitar yourself, have a vision, and then realize that into an instrument. So this is kind of
and very beautiful it is too.
Yeah, I mean it's very unique. So, and lots of people want it off me.
Do they?
Yeah, I'm not going to give it to you though.
Okay.
It's mine. One of my favourites.
Then on that note, we're going to move on
to the last one.
Yeah. Last up, another really unlikely pairing, two old instruments. You go first.
Oh, thank you, very kind of you. So this guitar is the Cadillac, the Cadillac of the Japanese vintage guitars. This is the best of the best. It doesn't get better than this. It's the most wacky, freaky, incredible, beautiful designed Japanese guitar ever made. And I first came across this guitar on an album called Mambo Sinuendo by Raikuda and Manuel Galban. Brilliant album, amazing, made in Havana, Cuba. And Raikuda was playing two of these. He had two of these through a Standell guitar amp. Manuel was playing a Telecaster, which Raikuda gifted him. And that album is incredible. It's an instrumental album for guitars. If you don't have that album, go now and get it.
I haven't. I've got to get it.
Make it your number one mission today to listen to that album. But he was playing this, and the tone of this was so ridiculously good that I just had to find one. It was a complete ball ache to find one. I managed to find one. Then I got this one, and I was very lucky because this doesn't weigh. It's not that heavy, is it? It's heavy, but it's not that heavy. These can be like 11 pounds, but this is like 9 something. And they can be very narrow here in the neck. I was very lucky. It's got a nice width, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
I got it refretted by the Bass Gallery, and they put 6100 Jim Dunlop. My friend Brian Prophet, who's a good friend of mine, he rewired it completely so it's mono because it was stereo with it's crazy, completely mad guitar. But this thing is just incredible if you want to kind of do this this kind of style. You know, sort of a little bit quirky. You know, this is the dream guitar to have. It can spaghetti western and, you know, the kind of James Bond sort of John Barry film scores, you know. You know, all of that sort of stuff. This is the one to have. This is the guitar that's going to make it happen. And I've used this on a lot of albums. You know, if you're making an album and you've got different guitars, you put this one in here, it'll have its own frequency range.
Atmospheres.
It will bring the atmosphere, it will completely change your track and make it incredible and give it a 50s Japanese tone, you know, or 60s. So I just love this one. You know, it's incredible.
So your guitar, it's got lots of stuff on it. It's got 3 string trees up the top here.
It needs it.
Behind the nut. It's got a 0 fret, and it's got 4 pickups.
Yes,
and push button selector switching.
Yeah, so it's got a neck pickup and a bridge pickup, and then it's got 2 in the middle, but these are only half each. So it's really just for 3 pickups. That's kind of like and I guess this would be a copy of a Jazzmaster, if I'd be wrong. Maybe a copy of a Jazzmaster.
Inspired by, kind of offset, yeah.
Kind of a Jazzmaster.
Similar bridge.
Yeah, similar bridge to but you know.
Amazing.
It's what I was saying earlier. You know, if you turn up at a gig with a Les Paul or a Stratocaster, you're going to be the boring guy, right?
Well, that's me stuff then, isn't it?
Which brings us on to...
With a video of mine wouldn't be complete without my 1958 Les Paul. It is one of my favourite guitars, though as you've seen it's not my favourite. That is the Red 330. But this is the guitar that I dreamt of owning pretty much as soon as I learnt what electric guitar was. And all the guys back in my childhood who were really hot on guitars, they all played one of these at the height of their powers.
Well, it's interesting because we're doing a lot of Mark Knopfler videos, and it's really interesting that he started off on a
Strat,
on a 50s or 60s Strat, but where's he ended up?
Yeah, true. But actually, there is some old video or some old stills of Knopfler doing an early Dire Straits gig, open air I think it is, and he's playing a Les Paul Special.
Oh, really?
A late 50s, early 60s twin packet, 2P90s.
Right.
So I think he always...
But I think he always dreamed of owning a 58.
And now he can own as many as he likes, and by all accounts he does.
But his main guitar is a...
It's a Les Paul, isn't it?
And what year?
He's got a 59, at least one 59, he's got a 58.
I thought the 58 was his favourite though.
Okay.
The
one thing is he's my friend because my guitar is very fabulous, but it's very plain. It's not highly figured, and Knopfler is on the record as saying he actually prefers the sound of the plainer Les Pauls. Now I have to say I've played a few of these things in my time. I've only played one that it wasn't bad. It was just boring, uninspiring, and it is true that even fabulous guitars there are duds. And even really cheap guitars, there are amazing diamonds in the dust. But all the other ones I've played have been really great, and I've played some really figured ones and some less figured ones. The only thing I've discovered is that I do prefer the ones with the thicker necks, the 58s and 59s. I'm not so keen on the 1960s where the necks get thinner. Now you might say that's complete hypocrisy because I've just said that my favourite guitar of all is my Red 330, which has got a 61 quite skinny neck.
But does it work on the Les Paul?
It does. For me, it doesn't work as well on the Les Paul. It works really well on the 330, but this is a matter of personal taste. Everyone's going to have different taste. Anyway, a video of my favourite guitars wouldn't be complete without the guitar that I hankered for since I could hardly spell electric guitar, since I first heard Led Zeppelin, first heard Cream, and started watching all the reading Melody Maker and seeing all these pictures, and all of my favourite guitar players, they're all playing one of these. So I dreamt of owning one of these.
It's just the quintessential British guitar, the Englishman's. Can we say Englishman? Because I don't know if there's any Scots or Welsh.
There are probably lots of great Scots guitar players who played one of these as well in their time. Right. Yeah.
But certainly in London, it was a British blues guitar.
Yeah, it was basically when middle class young white men from Surrey and thereabouts rediscovered the American blues, which was languishing, buying all the records and basically repackaging it and giving it higher energy with, overdrive with Marshall amps.
Sorry guys, we've had a couple of complaints with the Bob and Ramon show. So one of them is me. I keep butting in when Bob's talking. So 1,000 apologies, guys.
As if I don't talk enough. But
and another one.
Anyway,
and another one is you rubbing your leg.
I do that. Is it? I
That's
rub
a
my
complaint.
leg.
We've had about 3 complaints.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry.
But personally, can I just say, Bob, I actually like it. It's actually relaxing.
Okay. What? The rubbing my leg?
Yeah, it relaxes me.
I have to say, probably best. I'm probably rubbing my leg rather than his. But again, it's a matter of taste.
Yeah.
Right.
Our respective women might not.
Moving on. But anyway, you're right. The young white British males basically took the blues and almost boomerang repackaged it and sent it flying back across the Atlantic Ocean. And this guitar, not this guitar, but this kind of guitar was central to that.
Because Dwayne Allman would have played maybe then because he heard the
maybe. And you remember,
there was Michael Bloomfield, obviously. But
yeah, but Mike Bloomfield originally was playing a Telecaster, and then he was playing a gold top with P90s, and then finally he's most famous for playing his burst. But that wasn't probably inspired by the Brits. That was probably contemporary with the Brits. Right. I mean, the guy who made the Les Paul famous in the UK was undoubtedly Keith Richards, because he got one of the first, and he was famous.
And not least because Freddie King. Eric Clapton had the Freddie King. You remember when Freddie King's got his gold top up like that?
Yeah.
With the P90s, and Eric Clapton saw that, so he went to Selma's Charing Cross Road,
yep.
and said, "Give me the Freddie King gold top." And they said, "Well, sorry, sir, we don't have that, but we have one of these, a '59 burst." So he said, "I'll take that."
And there would have been very, very few of these guitars over in the UK at that time. Very, very few. And even though a few more came over gradually, there was still only a handful. And they were changing hands, like Clapton, Andy Summers, all the other guitar players around. Small pond. One
thing with this is I've never seen a Gibson custom shop guitar, a recent one, get this beautiful patina, this shade, this kind of T. I don't know what you call it, T burst or whatever. But this is just stunning, and it doesn't have the flame. But it's just got this beautiful colour, and I've never seen a Gibson quite get it right, in my opinion.
No. The way I always tell, a lot of people ask me to play their custom shops and their R8s and stuff like that, and the way I always tell is that I've never felt a neck on one of those that feels right. The guitar always feels like it's covered in too much, slightly sticky. Mm-hmm. They feel slightly sticky. This guitar always feels incredibly dry. Somehow, I can't describe it, but once you sit on one, anyway, that's that. It's still got the original frets, so the skinny frets, so you have to work a bit harder to bring the notes out of it, as you probably just noticed when I wasn't. But it's as I say, it has to be in this video because it's a lifetime dream.
It is your guitar. If I think of you, I think of that guitar.
Yeah, and one day, in years henceforth, I mean, this guitar is going to look after me, frankly.
Yes. It is, yeah. But it's a beautiful example. It's very clean.
Absolutely.
It's been well loved, and
Yep.
And this was made 7 years after that.
In fact,
this was made 7 years after.
A couple of commercial breaks. First of all, there is a great. If you're thinking about buying a guitar playing mate or yourself something for Christmas, there's a fantastic calendar that's just come out of gold tops and Les Pauls by a photographer called Eleanor Jane. You can find her on Instagram at Eleanor Jane.
We'll put a link.
We'll put a link. Yeah. And she came round recently and photographed a number of my guitars, which is going to be published in the Guitar magazine and on guitar.com, but not for a while, because the Guitar magazine is a physical magazine, and magazine lead times still being what they are. It's probably not going to be out until early in the new year, but there'll be a few of those guitars there, and she takes the most amazing. Well, she's basically the staff photographer for that magazine, and boy, does she know how to photograph a guitar. So watch out for that calendar, because it's really cool, and then eventually watch out for the issue of that magazine.
Fantastic. Well, guys, it's been really great having you along for this ride. These were our 5 favourite guitars. In the comments, can you tell us about your favourite guitars?
Yeah, please, and not only the conventional stuff, but also some of the weirder stuff would be really, really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Stuff we haven't seen. It'd be fantastic. So, from me and from my colleague here,
Mr. Goose,
Mr. Goose,
and from my wonderful friend here,
Lord Downtone,
it's goodbye from him.
and it's goodbye from him. Ciao.